Comics Plus, what's going on? Akasan, breaking news for y'all right now. We just got finished recording a Death Battle reaction, but one of the Red Reddit members has just let me know, breaking news, that the Batman, moves from October 1st, 2021 to March 4th, 2022. This is as no surprise as I've been updating you guys in the community page on the YouTube channel about the constant delays of the movies getting delayed. Plus, on top of that, could you send me a link to that, or do you have any? If you have any information, on top of that, now that the studios keep on delaying the movies, that the theaters have nothing really new to show. Some locations can't even open up to any sort of capacity. So this is as no surprise that everything's just going to keep on getting delayed. And I have given my opinion on this back and forth several times here, and I really am not um, I'm not very happy with this situation because I feel like they're going to. It's a little bit of both. Let me go ahead and read the Twitter notification here. Excuse me. Because what happened was Dune was announced earlier yesterday, I think, that they pushed their release date again because Wonder Woman essentially took Dune's Christmas release date, and obviously they haven't announced it yet. But of course, Wonder Woman's getting pushed again. There's no way they're opening Christmas unless there's a Christmas miracle, and suddenly we got Trump's miracle cure or whatever gets spread across everybody for free. By the way, yeah, that ain't gonna happen. So this is let me take a look here. This is coming courtesy of the Hollywood Reporter here. It says the release date for The Batman, which stars Robert Pattinson as the Cape Crusader, is being pushed from October 1st to March 4th. So essentially, Dune took the release date for The Batman, which I'm sure is going to get delayed as well. And so the Batman got pushed back to 2 years from now, basically, or a year and a half from now. It's as expected. We've talked about this on top of that. And then, as I mentioned yesterday in the community page, that the Regal theaters in the US and the UK, they've decided to shut down because they don't have any new movies to show. There's nothing that they can show. There's no people to really bring in. And they can't just keep on Tenet Tenet is gonna be in the theaters for a whole year or something, man. That's the only new movie that's come out, and I'm telling y'all, that wasn't the movie. That ain't the movie to be basing your future transactions on for that wasn't it. I love Christopher Nolan, but that ain't that movie. Like, I finally saw that movie last week, and I'm like, yeah, it's exactly as I thought it was going to be. As I was saying in my reactions for the trailer, I knew, like, I wasn't in the mood, especially during the pandemic. I wasn't in the mood. I wanted to see a movie. I wanted to see a movie where I just kind of go and I can forget about the world for a little bit. But I knew, Nolan being who Nolan is, I knew going into that movie I'm gonna have to need a pen and a paper or something to be taking notes and like really thinking through so I could try to understand everything. Nolan is fun in that particular sense, but that ain't the type of movie that most people are gonna be rushing to go see. Inception was a good example of that. A lot of people felt like Inception was complicated. I thought it was great, but that ain't the, like, Nolan ain't that dude to be bringing people in. But on top of that, I also feel like there needs to be precautions that need to be taken at some of these theaters. So this is kind of going hand in hand. I feel like this is partially the studio's fault. But at the same time, I mean, it's not, fault is not the best word to say, but it's something that the studios plus the theaters need to work together if they really want the theater system to survive into the next year, into the next 2 years, because it was already with streaming and the comfort of these big ass TVs at home, surround sound, surround headphones, just everybody's getting used to seeing movies at home. I watched Birds of Prey when it came out on demand, and that was one of the best experiences, theaters experiences I had. I just set my lighting to pink or something, like pink and blue or whatever, and I had this ambient thing. I could drink, I could talk, I could film my reaction, which you can check out on Patreon, of course. You know.
What the fuck else are you doing, you asshole?
Sorry, John. Anyways, my point is the fact that it's a lot of work going to the theaters now, and especially if you up here trying to avoid catching a case of corona, there's no big reason to be rushing out to see these movies. So theaters and studios really got to work together if they really want to be making this money, whatever money they can. Don't expect billion-dollar movies anymore. That's not that ain't gonna be the thing anymore. In terms of from the theaters, maybe on demand when that becomes more of a better flow, maybe, but studios are really going to have to adjust their budgets, their marketing. They're spending way more money on marketing every time they keep delaying these movies coming out because they got to keep on making these campaigns, and I really hope they're thinking about that as well. It's just, they gotta, in my mind, a lot of these studios need to try to get in like 600 million and be happy with that at this point anymore. Like, that $1 billion mark is just not, that's not going to work right now. Corona is not going away anytime soon. People's precautions about corona is not going away anytime soon. People are not going to be coming back to the theater anytime soon, regardless about what's out there, and regardless if there's going to be some sort of miracle vaccine anymore. You gotta work around it. It's something I really thought about as Japan is, I wouldn't say, and I talked about this during my Walking Dead reaction, I wouldn't say Japan is recovering, but Japan is getting back to a situation where we're working through it. It's very similar to like the Walking Dead situation. There's the outbreak, right? And things are bad for a while with the outbreak. But then essentially what happens is life finds a way. Things aren't the same, but life is continuing, and you still have these zombies and walkers around, just like corona, but you just learn to take precautions around it. And I basically feel like that's the way this is going to work, is if they want the theaters to survive, they're going to have to reduce the seating for the long run. They're going to need to make little boxes. If they really, really want this idea, then they're going to need to make these like sky boxes or something like that. Like these little, you know, when you go to the sporting events and there's like these sky boxes or whatever, they're gonna need to do this because so when you go to the certain places, for my job, where we go in, we get tested, we have to take a temperature test, then we have to wipe down everything, and then we have these white clear dividers, and we still need to wear masks. That's gonna have to just be the new normal. And my opinion is, if they really want people coming back to these theaters, they're going to have these like boxes so people have these like private little areas that are blocking off other people, and people will feel safer about that. That's my image, my idea. But you know, you can't just reopen these theaters and just expect people to be keep their mask on at all times, because they won't. There's already people that don't believe that it's possible for something like that. You got to have some dividers up there. You got to prevent, and you need to prepare for human error and human resistance based on each culture. Obviously in Japan, when you buy a ticket, like when I went to go see Tenet, they told you right before you bought the ticket, they're like, you're not coming in here without a mask. And if you're not, where you need to wear a mask the entire movie unless you're eating popcorn or something like that. People are like, okay, so this Josh Oganai, let's do it. And that's that. Obviously, in a country like America, who are still debating about the values of wearing a mask, it's going to need more resistance and things like that, and you're going to have to work around something like that. So I get it. We're going to have to work with Corona and not against or trying to eliminate it, right? I guess that's the best thing I can say. And I do feel like the theaters need to focus on something like that. On top of that, the studios need to be able to just, stop delaying these movies and put the stuff out. Like, I know that there's contractual obligations that need to be met, that these movies need to be released in a theater type of environment. But you know what? It is what it is. This is an unprecedented pandemic. It's not going to be going away within the next 2 years. So delaying these movies over and over and over again is just going to make you lose more money, because people are going to be losing interest more and more and more. Change the budget of some of these movies. No big, for the time being, no big studio Avengers movies, things like that. It sucks, but this is just going to be the way it's going to be. A lot of stuff is going to have to be changing. We're going to have to get a little more low budget, start putting out more $70 million movies like The Joker or something like that. So you can make your profit or whatever. But these $200 million budgets like Doctor Strange, time to cut those out. It sucks to say it, but it's time to cut those out until you can find other ways in demand to make this on streaming. Mulan, from what I was told, opening weekend for the Disney Premium Plus, $200 million something dollars. So no, or was it $400 million something dollars? Maybe 200 something million dollars. So these are the ways. On top of that, I was just looking at the Oculus Quest 1, the Oculus Quest 2. They were doing some comparison for trailers. I've mentioned it several times. Big screen is an alternative. Paramount was experimenting with some of the movies, not day one release, but like stuff you could rent. You can have that theater environment in virtual, and the Oculus is only around $300-$400. There's ways to do this. I honestly think there's still ways that you can still have this theater environment if that's what you really want. But you can't keep on delaying these movies and then expecting me to feel bad about this. Like, at this point, I've stopped caring about every release that comes out, and every time people keep asking me, Akasan, are you hyped about a movie? No, I'm not. No, why should I be? Because it's going to get delayed anyways, right? And I think that's where it's going to be hurting the studios. The bottom line is where it's going to be hurting them the most, is the fact that they're going to continue to delay these movies until the point where people stop caring. Black Widow, Eternals, the Batman. I mean, the Batman may be the only one, but this is like one of the first times that Batman's gotten delayed, so I'm kind of like, okay, whatever. Right now, yeah, as Saifu was saying, the future right now is just in entertainment, is things like The Mandalorian, The Boys, because that's the way we're adjusted to releasing that kind of release. Whereas these movie studios really need to rethink how they're going to be doing this. Where are the drive-ins? Where are drive-in theaters? You could be making a lot of money, hopefully a lot of money, and keeping everybody contained in their own little bucket sort of thing by doing drive-ins like that. Like I said, drive-in, little isolation skyboxes. There's different ways to do this, but you can't just keep on thinking that things are going to be... No, this ain't working. Anyways, sorry about that rant, my friends, but when you fuck with the Batman, you fuck with me. Robert Pattinson, what do you think about that?
I'm
man?
Robert Pattinson, asshole.
Yeah,
I don't do that. Screw you.
I see. I see. All right, guys. Well, Red Red Nation, stand up, speak up. Let me know what you guys think below about the delay in these movies, and I will talk to you on the next rant. I'm out.